It's Podular. Welcome back, everybody. We are back. It is October 9th. This is episode 50, and we are back with another installment of our artist series. So we're gonna get right into it. Before we do that, my name is Scotty Fuller. Welcome, my co-host Nate Schuler. How we doing, buddy?
Scotty, feels good to be back in the great US of A. Man, is Greece something special? So that opening clip, right? We'll throwback Poseidon from the mission 2004. As you know, Poseidon is a Greek god, the Greek god of the ocean,
Ah,
sea, and wind, right?
I didn't even
Uh,
peep. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even do the math.
right? So there's a lot of old stuff in Greece, right? I'm an old
Sure.
stuff enthusiast, like the oldest shit ever, right? I see old stuff, a fucking alert goes off in my head. So we're at Acropolis, seeing the fucking Parthenon,
Old as
and I'm
fuck.
oldest shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, right? It's so much older than the stuff we have here in the United States. It's crazy. It's crazy what they believed in and shit like that too. So uh we made a trip after we did the Acropolis with the Parthenon and everything like that, a little bit further up the coast towards the Temple of Poseidon here, right? And got a great picture of Gina here. This is the official Temple of Poseidon. Of course, we had to rock a quick Poseidon on a Bluetooth speaker,
Which
and
which ones
then
you rock?
Red Rocks 2015. Are you kidding me? Come on.
My boy, my boy, my boy. A man of
with
taste.
with the whale sounds.
Yes.
We may or may not have listened to it five other times on the trip, as we were at the mercy of the god of the wind and the sea and everything like that. Since we were doing a boat trip for most of it and traveling from island to island, and my sister is a big STS9 fan as well. When we were out of service, she, of course, being as cool as she is, had the 2021 Red Rock shows downloaded on her phone, right? And
Oh,
there's
Ellen. Yes.
there's a bitchin' Poseidon from there, that one too. And whenever there was a hint at any kind of like rough seas or rough weather ahead or anything like that, we sacrificed a little bit of beer to Poseidon into the ocean, and we rocked to Poseidon real quick, and we were able to travel everywhere safely. So, hopefully, he's happy with this little tribute to start this episode as well. But this clip in particular was picked out by our guest here, the 11th installment of the Artist Spotlight series. So, Scotty, without further ado, go ahead and give him an intro.
Yes, sir. So, a lot of times, guys, other than our super big guests like Audio Angel and all of them, we're dealing with people that we know. This is one of the first guests that we've had, that is a member of the community that we have somehow never really had a conversation with before today. But we are big fans of his art. He is the owner of Luminary Star Designs. He deals in stickers and posters and jewelry and apparel and what have you. And he is a gigantic STS9 fan with a really, really impressive group of shows that we're going to dive into and nerd out about. So, welcome today, Alex Hummel. Thanks for joining the podcast, brother.
Yo, what up, y'all? Thanks for having me. Let's talk real.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I can't believe you're the first person to fucking pull that one.
One of my favorite songs, Native End for sure.
Good shit. Good shit. Well, yeah, brother. Let's get right into it. For those that don't know you, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And what kind of music did you listen to when you were a kid?
All right. Grew up in just outside of Denver in Littleton and Aurora, Colorado. Um, my stepsister kind of turned me on to a bunch of music when I was pretty young, and Sublime, Bob Marley, Pink Floyd, Grateful Dead, and that kind of like blossomed into a bunch of hip hop as I got older. And yeah, I found Tribe through a homie. Um, gave me some burn CDs, and actually that clip from that Miss show was one of the CDs that I still have at home in my CD case. So I probably spun that show hundreds and hundreds of times, which is why I'm glad that we got to play it for the start.
Super unique Poseidon for sure. I've never really heard one like that. And obviously when they brought it back with Alana, right? I think it is one of those ones that is like a rare um everyone can agree that like the new version of this song is better than the old version, right? There's so many people that hold on to like those old versions, but like the new reworked Poseidon is just like an absolute monster. But this one in particular was a great choice to start with. Scotty, can you read off this set list real quick of this burn CD Alex is talking about?
Yes.
What was he working with getting started here?
Oh my God, dude. So we start off with it's something that you find in the wild all the time. Just thanks.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, then we hold on. I want to make sure I'm reading segs and stuff. So if it's noted here. Okay, here we go. So we got Just Thanks, then we got Poseidon, STS9. There's a great pop at the beginning of that STS9. That big fans of that song in that building that night, or in that amphitheater rather. Then we got a Mobster Suite, Mobster Surreality EB. Then a improv F. I'm assuming that's the key that it's in. Closing out with a nice, lovely baraka. Set two, we open with tap in. Then globally, what is love? Life, sweet breath, moonsocket, orbital into water song.
Woo.
Um, and is if there was an encore that night, it's not labeled. Yeah, that's what we've got.
Maybe it was that Orbital Water song. That's fucking crazy. You talk
And
about wheelhouse shit for me. That's insane.
and this is the show that got recreated, isn't it?
No, it is
Oh, it's
not.
not. Oh, my bad.
We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but yeah, before we get a little bit more into you as well here, um, Alex, let's just talk some STS9 news, right? You're actually
Ah,
joining us from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on vacation,
Yeah,
and part of that vacation initially was the plan to go see STS9 in Charleston, right?
big tour.
Yep. Obviously, a little bit disappointing that the shows didn't take place, but um, selfishly, I am excited that they're being rescheduled to a date that I'll probably be able to make it to because I haven't been to Charleston yet and wasn't able to
Yeah.
go last year either. But let's talk, guys. Obviously, Scotty, we recorded last week's episode, uh,
yeah.
2.5 weeks before the shows were supposed to happen. So like,
Hope
and
you
we
guys enjoyed that Charleston preview.
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
You better be ready in about fucking like 7 months. But man, I mean, it plays into this theme of this Poseidon theme, right? Like, guys, there was a nasty fucking storm heading towards the coast of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw, but like, I spent a lot of time in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Grew up
Yes.
as a kid going there for 2 weeks every summer, and um, on that coastline, which Charleston is not too far south from, tropical storms and hurricanes are no joke, right? Inland as well, they tear shit up, right? There were this storm didn't necessarily hit the landfall as hard as it was expected to, but it had huge impacts upon ocean swells and the coastlines and everything like that. I don't know if you guys saw like videos of um, houses off the coast of North Carolina falling into the water. Like for people thinking that like this was no joke, and sure, maybe the weather cleared up on that weekend, but like the end of the day, this is a fucking outdoor venue. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I think it's important to not be a victim of the moment here. I know it sucks, and I know that some of the other reschedules that have happened this year on top of that make this one especially sting for the people that were there. And Alex, we're gonna hear from you in just a second about it. But like Asheville happened less than a year ago, and we all know the story of that of what happened there. They called it early for a reason. And when I say they, I don't even think we're talking about the band here.
mhm.
My gut tells me that probably a lot of the venue pulled a lot of shit. and it probably was very much outside of their control. And even if it was in their control, if they saw the potential of a hurricane coming 10 days out and decided to call it, then honestly, that's fine. I know it sucks for the people that had plans, but my gut tells me that this rescheduled date, and I don't have the date in front of me, forgive me, but it feels like this might end up being part of a bigger run of dates. At least that's my hope. That's what happened with the rescheduled Northeast show at the Cap Theater. So let's hold on. Let's hold on to hope and let them cook with whatever they've got coming next year. Um, that being said, it's very easy for us to say that. Nate was just on a beautiful vacation, and I was chilling. I was never planning on going to Charleston. How are you feeling, Alex?
Oh man, initially pretty disappointed. Like actually saw a post on the lounge. Someone got like refunded for their tickets or whatever, and then I was like, wait, what? And then a homie texted me, and then I was just like kind of scrambling to figure stuff out because we had just booked an Airbnb the night before. We were gonna take my girlfriend's sister and her boyfriend to the show. So we were like kind of, had big plans to have a good weekend. And that venue is dope. We went the year before and I love it. I loved it. Um, but like I was watching some of your episodes, some of y'all's episodes to like prepare for this. And one of them was the interview with Brad from Sub ID, and just hearing his story about how, how nature kind of took over their home. And, you gotta take care of yourself, man, and make the safest choice, and it sucks. I was pretty bummed, but we were making the best of it. So
The unquestionable supremacy of nature, that's for sure. You do not want to fuck with Mother Nature. The dates got them here, May 8th and 9th, 2026. And if we've learned anything as STS9 fans, when the band has anything that they need to make up for, whether it be rescheduling a show or whether it be one
Melting a
night of tech
soundboard.
melting a
Yep.
soundboard, like they come back with this fucking chip on their shoulder. So I'm sure
yeah,
the shows were going to be great. Any Southeast SCS9 is going to be great, but like now that is going to be a not miss occasion for sure.
I I
yeah,
had
you
I
might
That's
had
get
I hadn't even thought about that. These are going to be fucking angry STS9s, dude.
might get a come why in the round.
Yeah,
Oh yes, we will
some
always take a come wine around. That's for sure.
wild shit. So pivoting back to, and thank you, Nate. I completely forgot that we needed to do that. Pivoting back to you, Alex. Before you discovered STS9, I would assume that you were an artist and have been an artist your whole life, or have you been? When did art become something to you that you were just going to do forever?
Yeah, I think I have a bunch of old pieces of paper from when I was a kid and like crayons of like Ninja Turtles and stuff. And I think I've been drawing since, since I could hold a crayon or a pencil. And like thinking back, because I figured, you guys are doing an artist spotlight, which is pretty dope. The concept to a burgeoning artist, I'm an artist. It's like every artist kind of goes through that like aha moment of like, you know, to
Hmm.
create, to say, like to speak with what you're doing is like a special moment when you like kind of succumb to like that's what you love to do and you do it because you love to do it. It's not like for any specific reason, but you just have to create kind of situation. But so I was thinking about it, and besides like early just drawing as a kid, which I think every kid probably does, but I can pinpoint it to like, I used to skateboard a lot in middle school and high school. And like around my rap hip hop phase, I used to like read the Source magazine. I think they still
Fuck
have
yeah.
it. But like so in the
They
back of the
don't.
source,
They
it's
don't.
not still.
So I actually started an art project during COVID that I never finished, but I bought a some guy's collection of like
Oh, nice.
700 sources and XXL magazines. I've got boxes and boxes in my
I
basement.
wish I
Not
still
to mention.
had some of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like on one of them there was like sometimes in the back they just have like random pictures, and I remember there was like a wall in New York. It was like an FX graffiti crew did like a whole production on this wall. It was like Tats and Bio, these graffiti artists, and like that, just looking at that and then just driving around in like in the back of my mom's car or whatever, just like seeing graffiti around the city just like really left an impression on me. So like, and then skateboarding a lot, I started doing graffiti on my skateboards. So like I think
Sick.
Fuck
that's
yeah.
kind of where it's all sort of started as like, and then I got pretty heavily involved in like, developing a name and like some letter styles and whatnot, which is still going on to this day. Like still can't do proper 3D and stuff like that. But yeah.
Fuck
Did
yeah.
did you design the STS9 font?
No, no, that was
Oh.
Vince Tabor, I believe.
Ah, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, introduction to STS9, or early 2000s, right? So 2004 show is the first one you heard.
Mm.
What are your initial impressions of STS9 um, after hearing them, and when is the first time you get to a show?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I think my buddy Sean Ryan was kind of into them before, and that's who I got the Burn CD from. Um, and I think I was listening to that show, and then I didn't realize this, but like going back, this other Burnt CD that like left a huge impression on me happened to be the night before that Miss show, which was the Fox Theater,
Oh yeah.
624. And like it was the El Bujo sit-in show where they do some
Mm,
improvs, and
yep.
like El Bujo, Gary Gasway sits in, and like so it was that, and then this Mish CD that just kind of like, I don't know what, I mean, the first time I heard Mischief of a Sleepwalker and like the glitch in there is just like, what the F is this? Like, where do I get more? Like, I want to just live inside that AOL dial tone for like just a couple
Love
more minutes.
that.
And then actually, and in one of my like in Spanish class or something, for some reason we had like, here, play some music, and I put that CD on and put Mischief of a Sleepwalker on in class in like junior year in high school or something like that, maybe even like sophomore year. But yeah, I don't know, it just really spoke to me. It was like kind of hip hoppy, a lot of like
Wait,
electronic
wait, wait.
production.
Finish that story. How did your class and your Spanish teacher react to that
I
song?
don't, or I think poorly, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Oh my God, I could have answered that for you. I knew that was gonna.
They didn't know.
Oh,
It's still ahead of its time. A lot of those sounds, in my opinion, like I
sure.
don't know what those boys were on, man, but like they were like tapping into some otherworldly cosmic stuff with how
Mhm.
they're playing their instruments back then, man. And even today, obviously, um but yeah, and I think my first show actually, and it was a PA set, so not a full band set, but it was at a record store, Twist and Shout in Denver, which I think was the day before my first actual Tribe show, which was
Which was January 27, 2006.
Fillmore Auditorium in Denver. Yep.
Hmm.
Which it was a 2 night run, and like, yeah, I mean, life-changing moments, both of them for sure.
Absolutely. And the oh 06, I mean, you hear a lot about oh 05, oh 07, right? Like oh 06 has some really, really special moments. And 2006, Red Rocks, that had to be your first time at Red Rocks seeing them, right?
First time seeing Tribe at Red Rocks. Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, without further ado, we've got some Alex has hand selected some fire clips. Me and Scotty have nothing to do with these clips other than me getting the timestamps ready and everything like that. But without further ado, let's listen to some music and let's start there.
fucking sick. Jesus Christ. We are so back.
Let them down nice and sweet.
That's right. To the last drop.
Yeah, that show was fire, dude. Um, Jurassic 5 opened up for them that night too.
Oh
So
my
like,
God, that is
and
so sick.
um, I think was it Power in Numbers? Was that the album with like Dave Matthews and fucking Nelly Furtado and shit? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
more poppy, sort of like they finally kind of broke past the like LA hip hop scene kind of situation with that album.
yeah. I can see Dave Matthews dancing around in like a cartoony music video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But like, yeah, so like super awesome vibe just going into the Tribe show. And from what I remember on that 986, I obviously, or not obviously, but that was the first time I had maybe even heard the song.
Hmm.
Because like, I'd only been to maybe two shows before that, two Tribe shows before that. And I remember this dude, this older cat was standing next to me. He might have had his shirt off, but he was like bugging out that they were playing 986. And I was just like, okay, this guy's super stoked. What's going on? And then like got to listen to that for the first time. I think I had a head full too, so it was just like super about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
So, I
mean,
mean,
it's
like,
go ahead.
this is one of those songs where it's like two songs within a song, right? Like you get like the first part, and then that jazzy breakdown, and then Hunter Brown playing a whole lot of notes on this one. And
Chopping,
Jeffrey dialed the fuck in too. The whole old
giddy up.
perk world going crazy here. Yeah, I mean this show, so your third show, you don't say, Basic Come Why, an old school throwdown there, One a Day, which I'm sure wasn't as well received back then. Rent, Rent 986, another not as well received, probably Low Swagga, but they bring you back up with an HB Walks to end
Yeah, I don't
set
know if I've
one.
seen that song. That was like my other suggestion for a clip, and that song sticks out in my memory. Like, I remember what the lights were doing. I remember where I was at. I remember like what was going through my head, kind of
Yeah,
situation.
one of
HB
those
Walks, bring that
photographic
shit back,
memory
please.
moments. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And then second set, Hubble, Be Nice, Blue Mood, Instantly, Music Us, Opening, Aimlessly. That set's
Just
out of control.
breathe in encore.
Something
Yeah.
Breathe In Encore. That's how you draw it up. That's how you hook. That's how you get your teeth sunk into a new fan.
yeah,
So
that's a perfectly coached game right there.
so
Uh,
after this show, is it like you're like, hey, I need more of this, right? Is it that kind of thing that
Bit, but no, like before I even saw my first live tribe show, I was listening to Artifact on my CD player in the halls and on the way to the bus stop nonstop. So like I don't know when Perspectives came out, but like we were bumping that nonstop too. So maybe just shortly after that. But yeah, I mean like Red Rocks and then you see a show like that, it's like kind of like a transcendental experience. And that was like, you know, I don't know.
I'm always so you when you
fuck
say
yeah.
we, I'm always interested in the Colorado scene at this time, because I'm in Atlanta and like obviously there's a pretty heavy following of the band in Atlanta at the time, but that shit completely missed me and anyone that I really knew, honestly. Like it was kind of for older kids, so like, did you know a bunch of kids in high school that were listening to Sound Tribe? Was that kind of like the vibe in Colorado even back then? This like super unique hub for this music that was kind of starting to explode.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I think my one homie, he was a couple years older than me, Scooter, he was like super dialed into like live music. And I also had some other friends that were in like crust punk bands and stuff, so we're like also musicians. And these kids weren't like genre specific. Like if it was cool music, they would listen to it. So like I grew up listening to like Ween and like a bunch of like stuff, and like also Red Rocks bringing in every summer like bands would come through, and it was like instead of going to the movies when you're in high school, we would go up to Red Rocks.
Sure.
You know
Back
what I
when
mean? It
concerts
was
were
like
affordable like that.
that too, but also like we used to hike the hill behind Red Rocks. They kind of like changed the parking lot back there now, but you used to be able to walk up it, and we used to listen to shows for free, and then like get out the house and then come back home. It was definitely a drive, and like but I don't know if that answered your question, but like Tribe was also like, they're putting in some work playing shows, like they did like a PA set at a record store, they're like getting out there trying to like rub some elbows, turn some people on to their music. So they were definitely putting the effort in too.
For sure.
Fuck yeah. I mean, like I'm sure this sparked even more artistic um influence for you, right? So like obviously you talk about like you starting to put together art, like for kind of for yourself, kind of privately, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you shared something you made and got a reaction from someone?
I mean, I used to do like graffiti and stuff. So it's like you don't actually like that's sharing it. But you don't
Sure.
actually get to see people's like reaction unless you know what I mean? But like so there was that for a while, and I think it was like mainly graffiti. I got in trouble in high school, and then I kind of set that down and kind of stopped drawing like in that sort of aspect for a while. But a lot of it was the music, man. A lot of it was just derived from listening to music and how that made me feel. So I was just like hooked on it.
That
Yeah.
so when it shifting from graffiti to kind of what I've seen a lot of your work from kind of the first time you appeared on my radar was through stickers. um a unique art form in that they travel, they you can trade them. There's something to that. What kind of drew you to that medium, and was it was it initially STS9 related? Was the first sticker you made an STS9 one?
No, man. So like again in like graffiti culture,
Okay, I had a feeling this is where this is going.
a lot of people do the stickers like the slaps and stuff and
Yeah.
like, so it was almost like I was doing that, printing stickers with like my name on it and whatever, and then it was just like it kind of clicked that like, you know, oh, I can do this like inside joke that makes me laugh, but also like kind of derived from like I did a lot of fish tour too in like 2009 through et cetera. I've seen almost 100 fish shows. So like the lot scene there is just like kids get to shows because they make koozies or sell beers or make stickers. So like I kind of like took from that, to like, hey, this joke cracks me up, like the Call Jam sticker or like the symbiotic relationship Venom Zach mashup. Because like, he says like, the we are Sector 9, but like I don't know if a lot of those things go over people's heads, which like when I look at other groups like the Disco Biscuits or whatever, like their fandom goes hard and has some like serious like hidden secret language, you know what I mean? And it's like
Hmm.
that's kind of what I wanted to bring to it, just like what made me happy and to like share that with the people that like felt the same about the band for like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this one is, I think, one of my favorites. The new for you modular as the new ports here with the little the detail. The detail is that the cigarettes are like modular cables here. Holy shit, dude! The
Oh
little
my
Euro
God.
rack on top.
Bro, I have seen this fucking sticker 20 times online, and I have never caught the modular cigarettes until right now.
Also on the side it says Sector General's warning, patching synths may complicate Kaya Satori or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, and the photo's really bad. But like I actually gave some of those to Phipps in the band in Portland. And I was like, Phipps, I heard you quit smoking, and just like gave him one of those stickers. I was stoked for him though, like
Now,
good for him, man.
yeah, never quit this shit right here. Never quit these cables. How about that? But no, I mean
Man,
some
that
super creative stuff. God's got it.
that's
Yeah, I got
no,
that.
I was just saying, Alex, you unintentionally may or may not have teased a guest that we've got coming up in a couple weeks. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it just yeah, that's we'll leave it there.
Teaser.
Um, this the tooth one as well, right? You made this before Camp Elsewhere, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Not knowing, right, that we were about to get the sickest
Sure,
fucking tooth ever.
sure.
So that one worked out pretty well as well. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about it, man. I mean, the next clip we're gonna get to is gonna be getting it launching into the 2.0 and 3.0 eras here, but like just
Sweet.
kind of, talk to us about between '06 and you know g- getting
Oh
into
yeah.
2.0 and tell us. I mean, you were there for the 5 night run Boulder Theater shows too. We haven't
Yeah.
had a guest on yet that's been to those shows. Talk to us about that week, right?
Yeah, man, it was a big week. We drove up from Littleton to Boulder and kicked it at some of our friends' like dorm rooms before the show on
Are you in
campus.
high school? Are you in high school
Yeah.
still?
I
Get
think I'm
the
just,
fuck
yeah,
out of
well,
here,
I
dude.
graduated in '06, so like just finished.
Hmm.
Like
Um,
hitting a 5 night Boulder theater run in high school, like Colorado kids had it fucking made, dude.
yeah, for sure. They still do.
Yes.
True.
I don't but like it was also St. Patrick's Day weekend, so like after the shows there was green keg beer everywhere and just, like it was a whole fiasco.
Yeah.
But that the moment that sticks out, which is kind of ironic the most to me, was the first song played, which is the Big Little Scenario.
Hmm.
Sure.
And everyone we all want to hear the band play that song again if they get around to it. We'll
God
gladly
willing.
we'll gladly dance our asses off, that's for sure. But yeah, that run was dope, man. And like also, being in high school, we didn't have a lot of paper. So like I didn't have much money around when that fifth night came around. So I got shut out because I didn't have, X amount of money to buy a ticket. So I was sitting outside the show listening to like that fifth night was kind of like probably the most abstract avant-garde stuff they played of that run. It was like the Sweat and Concrete and like
Yeah, all
a
that
lot of
weird shit
that,
that first set.
which was like listening to it from outside of the Boulder Theater. The doors were open. I was like fucking pulling my hair out because I was like, what is going on in there? But it was good
Um,
time.
so getting into STS9 events that you've been to, right? I know you're at Camp Elsewhere. You were at the 5 Night Boulder Theater Run. Talk about like other curated events that you've been to as well.
Yeah, man, we did Wave Spell 1 and 2, which
Mm,
great. I'm super grateful to have been there. The homie kind of put me on the list, and I think that was one of the more defining moments of like the band kind of like leveling up that I witnessed live,
mhm.
like just how they were like stretching their segues or stretching their like peaks, like stair steps, like they wouldn't stop stretching their peaks like for like 30, 40 seconds a minute, and then like they'd crescendo into like what they were going to do, how they used to do it. But
Yes.
Wave Spell for
That,
sure, both of those were
well,
like defining moments.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's pause there. That segues really nicely into your second clip, and we're taking these clips linearly. So we're gonna get a wave spell two in 2019. You talk about segues and shit like that. This shit is pretty playful, so we'll get into it. how fucking good did we have it in 2019, man?
Oh man, maybe the most belabored topic that we beat to death on this podcast, but it should be beat to death. It is that
Mhm.
good. You guys might have noticed me doing a little drumming along with Zach there. That's because this was the stick that was making that noise.
No way.
This
From that set, no
from
shit.
that set. This is the first colored sets by Scotty ever.
Hmm.
Very much in my prototype era before I had shown anyone short of Nate and a few more people in a group chat this concept. And I made it because I wanted to play with the drumstick holder because this is the only drumstick that I've ever gotten from Zach. I snatched it off the ground after some poor girl couldn't catch, and I yoinked that thing. Looked her right in the eyes as I walked away. And here it sits on my wall to this day as a kind of reminder of how far I've come artistically. I didn't even put together when I saw the clip that we were that I had this set on my wall. So yeah,
Yeah,
love
talk us through how this one speaks to you though, Alex.
Man, dude, Scotty, that's dope, dude.
it.
That 1, 2, 3, like had that scubes in it for fucking like 3/4 of it. That was dope.
Hmm.
Um, and also it's funny because Poseidon was right before that, so we're kind of like
Yep.
sticking to a theme here. I think that song. So like what I didn't say about the Poseidon, kind of backtracking a little bit, the because of that version was like so like important to me, the one we played earlier. Every time I saw Saxton, because I would be like, "Yo, what's up with Poseidon? Can you guys play Poseidon?" Because like it wasn't on the shelf for till that Veil show in 2014. It was a free Veil show,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
and
When I first started listening to the band, kind of some of the people that got me into it played me Poseidon, and before they played it for me, they said this is an STS9 song that you're never ever gonna hear live. Um,
right.
I I'll never forget that because I remember when I got it being like, "Oh, there it is." Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No, you
off.
didn't. Yeah, it's I think I remember hearing you say that. And I think there was like some topic of discussion on the lounge that like Alana ended up typing some responses in. And I said that to her, like, why did y'all play the Poseidon that day? And like she said something about how Zach like asked the band what was the biggest bust out they could have played, and that was the song. So like unfortunately I didn't make it to that show. I couldn't get a ride up from Boulder to Vail. So like I missed the Poseidon dust off, but I kind of selfishly attribute it to me bugging Saxon every time I saw him.
Nice.
You got to put it in their ear somehow. But yeah, man, this set, the Poseidon abilities to start, and then this one,
Yeah.
2, 3, they don't stop from here. 1, 2, 3 into Squares and Keys, buttery segue into Beyond right now, into Meta Meme, into Wicca. This Wicca reaches around 13 minutes. That Wicca is insane. And Baraka Encore. Oh man, good
Did you
times
guys
in
go to Wake Spell?
Wellington.
Yes, I
Yes.
was I
Yep.
was just about to say we were the ones in the cabin that year,
Hmm.
like directly to the right of the stage. I
Were y'all
can't believe
dropping
we never met.
nuggets from the balcony on people?
Yes, yes,
Someone
yes,
was it was like raining nuggets, and I was like,
yes.
who are these Cali kids throwing weed everywhere around, these fucking
No,
Cali kids?
we were we were on our absolute worst behavior that weekend in the best ways.
Such a good festival, man. Besides getting in there, and I guess you had a cabin, so you didn't have to schlep all your
Nope.
stuff to the spot. But man, besides that, flawless festival.
Alex,
Yeah.
we almost felt bad for how smooth it was from almost felt bad, but like we would be sitting on our couch 15 seconds after the sets would end. We would be, I mean, it was that kind of ruined festivals for me, honestly, because I was like, I'm good, man. Like I'm never gonna experience it like that again.
No, yeah, that was a solid one. And then I guess I don't know if it was the first year or the second year, but did you hear about the story about this big praying mantis landed on Zach's set during
Yes. during the Richard Devine like improv set, right?
So
Yeah.
like, it wasn't just like the band's energy or our energy. It was like Mother Nature was like coming out for that. It was like special out there,
No,
dude.
Yeah.
it was like we were in a vibe globe, you know? Like it was
Yeah.
like not a snow globe because it was wonderful weather, but it was like we were in our own like energy bubble that weekend. I don't we're going to talk about that weekend actually a lot coming up in the next few weeks. Hint number two.
Wave spell round three. Let's do it.
We're going to get
Marina Vista.
into
What's the locale?
Man, no, no, no. I'm not teasing an announcement. But we are going
I
to
know you
talk about
know. I know you know, Scotty, dude.
I
Don't
don't we
don't
don't know
front.
anything.
No, we don't. We
What
don't know
no, we
shit.
really don't. We really don't. But what we do know is we're going to get into that a lot more in the next couple of weeks.
I can't wait.
Um getting back to kind of you and your place in the community and kind of the art of it all that you contribute to it. Um there's a lot of people making stickers these days. I would kind of attribute the grandfathers of the sticker game in STS9 to Brandon Pearl and Taylor Houston Morgan. Then it's kind of been carried on by you and a bunch of other people. Who are some of the fellow artists in the community that are kind of on your radar that you're fans of, that you draw inspiration from? Show some people some love.
Man, everybody on the lounge that makes stickers, shout out to all you guys on the lounge. Like, I think it's really fun for people to make that stuff. I do enjoy, you know, um, kind of just like having some like it in my own head, like some competitiveness just as
Okay,
a sportsman, you
good.
know, which like isn't great for community sometimes, but like I do appreciate everyone that makes slaps out there. And like, you know, I will shout out the homie Joe Weber with
Hmm.
his little manifestos. He's doing his own thing, writing little poems, and
Yeah, nobody's doing that. Yeah.
he's always got slaps, dude. He has to like go in early with his Ziploc bags full of slaps. So like homie's rolling deep, you know. Um, but there's a whole lot of people doing it.
Dilla
Adam
Garza.
TX, De La
Yeah.
Garza. I think
Hmm.
I met
Hmm.
him. I met him briefly. Homie's always got a bunch of slaps. There's
He sent me a fat pack recently. Shout out Adam. I
Yeah.
haven't thanked him for that yet.
Great dude. Yep.
yeah, and I also do. I guess I do want to mention one thing. Like stickers are not inexpensive to make. I don't know if y'all have gone on like to go price checking on the
Yeah,
internet. Like so like when people give you stickers, like, a thank you or just like, a high five, it goes a long way just from someone who like puts time, energy, and monetary funds into it, and it's like I do put stickers up for sale. So it's like, you don't have to buy them. You can get them for free if you see me at a show or whatever, but just, goes a long way. Artists like put a lot into their work. So like, appreciate everyone who's doing it.
Fuck yeah. Talk about your creative process a little bit, right? Where does it start? Are you sketching first? Do you dive right into digital? Is it kind of different with each project, or how does that work with you
That's a really
particularly?
good question, man. I will oftentimes in the evening just have my sketchbook and my paper when I'm watching TV or whatever, chilling out. But then like in the morning time is when I kind of like if I have an idea that sticks in my head that I think is viable for something in the morning times when I wake up, it's like one of the first things that I kind of try to do. And it's funny because like a lot of times ideas don't translate into a design. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that making art set list boards, it's like how do I translate a band sound into like a
sure.
visual aesthetic or whatever, so like a lot of times they don't work and they stay in the sketchbook for a long ass time. Like that Newport New for you was like
Hmm.
in my sketchbook for months before I like did it. And then when I did it on my computer, which I will get into like some of that process here in a little bit because I think it's super important. Someone but like as soon as I started working on it, I was like, I can't just put out this basic 2D new for you. And so like I kind of like started flipping it and working on it and it evolved into that, just magically. So I will say like as an artist, like showing up putting yourself in the pilot seat, even if you don't feel like anything's going to happen, like is important for me, because like that's where a lot of the magic comes in, is that like you're there, you turn your computer on, you get your pencil sharpened or whatever it is, you open your book, just start it, and like, you're not going to know what's going to come out of it. And oftentimes it's better than if you wouldn't have, obviously. But I will say that when I first started, I was like hollering at people because I didn't know how to use the computer to digitize any of this stuff.
Okay.
Um, and my first design was like the unquestionable um, Supreme like box logo
Okay.
rip.
Yeah,
Cool.
So,
I'll pull that up again. Yeah.
which is like one of my favorite songs too. Like, talking some older tribe, like that sample in the beginning, like microphones placed inside of a tank turret, record. um it's just like
Yeah.
was so prolific, like hearing that shit and then hearing those like horns come in, like it just blew my mind. So like that one was kind of just like it made me chuckle when I came up with it, unquestionable supremacy. And like, the band's used it too. The band has used Soundtribe in that font and in their thing. Like when we were at Elsewhere, they had a Soundtribe shirt in the merch booth from like, probably early, like whenever Supreme started popping off. But so it's like it's not like hella original or anything, but like it made me laugh. I was stoked about it, and it was a tangible piece of art. That's also what I like about stickers. It's like you have this idea and then you can hold it in your hand. I think that's super important for artists, is to have something that like comes out of your sketchbook you can hold or like look at, because it changes what it is. But I also did want to say that, so like kind of going back to, I had to like learn how to make my sketches into vector or digital art, because it's like, you know how do you bridge that gap? And I hollered at my homie Mike Boyer, um and I was like, yo, can you do this collab with me? Can you draw some stuff for me, dude? Because like, shout out to Mike Boyer, and like my other homie, Nick Doyle, he used to make prints back in the day. Like those kids were always on lot with fresh ass posters and like and tees and whatnot.
I love Michael Boyer's shit. That's cool. I didn't know that was your homie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so the first time we actually talked, I was giving you one of those stickers outside the Mish.
Outside
And I
the
was
Mish.
and I was like, yo,
Outside.
do you know Boyer? And you're
I
like,
thought you
no, you're
were
Boyer.
Boyer. I
And
thought you were Boyer. Oh
no,
my
I
God, that's
introduced
so
you to
funny,
Boyer.
dude. I was
But
just thinking, okay, that's right. That's right. I remember this now. This was the first night of 2023, right?
yeah, so that's the only other
Yep.
time I've spoken to you. We kind
That's
of
right. Yeah, Kate was
crossed
pregnant
like,
as fuck. That's right.
yeah, yeah. I
I'm
felt
remembering it
bad
all
stopping
now.
you because I could tell your old lady was like ready to go home, and I was like, "Can I just give you guys this sticker?"
Yes, I
Like,
remember this now.
but like, so I was Boyer's like a G. Like, I still have some of his t-shirts that are like still like I wear them every night to go to bed, kind of thing. He had like Get Rich or Die Mine, like all that shit. Like he got a cease and
Yeah.
desist from the band back in the day for using their
Oh
likenesses
shit.
and stuff. But like, I love that kid. Shout out Boyer. And so I hit him up and I was like, yo, can you do some art for me? He's like, nah, man, I'm making like furniture and stuff now, or like doing like wood crafts. And I'm like, dog, okay. Do you have any time though? Like, still trying.
Right.
He's like, no, dude, you know what you need to do is do it yourself. He's like, buy Adobe Photoshop, fuck around with the pen tool, go fuck some shit up, was like his advice. And I spoke to him on the phone for like 30 minutes, and I was like, so like shout out to Boyer for like getting me. And that was like maybe 3 years ago. So like now I'm like
Oh
at this point
wow.
in my journey where I'm like, ready to like do some whole other shit. And like, you know what I mean? So it's like
Because
also
you've done some posters too, right?
um the one poster that my first poster was for the Portland shows, and it was like
Yeah. Let
Oh,
me pull that
okay.
up real quick.
it
Yeah.
was like probably one of my favorite things that I've made in a minute, man. And actually,
Hmm.
we did
Oh
the sound check.
yeah.
We did the sound check, and I was like, asked the band to sign it, so they all kind of looked at it, and I was like, it was a quick one. I wish they could have like looked at it a little longer, but a lot of the verbiage on there is from the song Artifact. which is kind of like where I got it and where I got the idea from. So a lot of my ideas come from the music, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's like I get inspired by just stuff. You know, I made an ISB t-shirt with HB silhouette on it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this is fresh as fuck. It looks so fresh
Yeah,
with the
dude.
signatures too.
It was printed on, yeah,
The
thank you so
silver
much.
on there. That is really cool.
It's
But
on holographic paper, so I was like super stoked on it. It's like kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, you can
very
tell at the
cool. You got
top.
the glass Z13 in there too. That's fresh as fuck. Well, hey, you guys were talking about the Mish, and Alex had a clip pulled from a recent Mish show, and he kind of gave me liberty as to what song to choose from this show. So this is from the throwback show. Um, September 23rd, 2022, where they recreated the show from 2002, 20 years before. So, see what we think about my selection here. I think it's pretty
What do you
prudent.
got? What do you got? All right.
That's my basis.
Your cover band could never.
What is Fitz doing? Good fucking God, dude. Oh, just a fucking reminder. Good fucking luck recreating that. Only they can recreate. This show is a recreation,
Mhm.
and only they can fucking do it. Like,
Mm. And that's
God,
all we're gonna say about that.
that's all the press they get.
Exactly.
But
Um,
I mean, talk that you carefully select this night as part of the
Yep,
clips that we're sharing. Alex, talk to us a little bit. It had to be special for you because what turned you on to the band was an '04 show from the Mish, right? So
totally.
is that kind of what we're feeling here?
Yeah, so like similarly, the Poseidon, man, it pays in dividends, dude. But so like I went to this sound check in LA 2017, 18-ish. It was the what's that venue in LA?
The
The
Novo?
wall that starts with a W. I always get it confused with
Oh,
Wiltern.
the other two.
the Wiltern, yeah.
Wiltern. Thank you.
Hmm.
Went to the Wiltern and it was my a birthday show, 118. So like Zach gave me a drumstick and then we did the whole photo thing. And I told Jeffrey how much the Poseidon from the Mish or how much that show meant to me. And I was like, it's I love that show so much. So like as soon as I saw that they announced the Mish, I was like, yo, that's like a dream come true. I have to fucking go.
Yeah,
Uh,
because we thought we'd never be back there, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah.
there's so many stories about how they were banned from the venue. So like that announcement was huge.
Yeah, dude. So like I was beyond and like I lived in Fort Collins for a minute too. So it was like coming back to my old stomping grounds. Like we used to party up at the Mishawaka too, like back before we could drink, we were drinking at the bar there. But like legally at least, or illegally, whatever, whichever way you look at that. But like so super special show for me, man. I got to take my little brother and that was his first Sound Tribe show. So like
Cool.
he's batting pretty good as far as like legendary shows in his career goes. But we were like riding the rail, but like the Mish, it's like kind of a step up. So like we're left side in front of Phipps the whole 3 nights, and then the next year too, we did like the same spot again. But like taking my little brother and getting a throwback show, like out of control. No, any of those songs you could have picked, we'd have a similar reaction to. Like very well executed show, like all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the
Um,
Universal Mind, I mean, like, yeah, we could have gotten MC Scotty on there if we could have, but I thought they played it really good justice. But um, yeah, man, the Mish
Shout
is
out Scott
yeah,
Trohedron. What up, dog? What up,
yep.
my D?
You bring that up, your brother batting pretty well for legendary shows. I feel like that's the case with anybody who has started seeing them in the last like 3 or 4 years. Like
True.
they're doing pretty good. Like,
Well, the reason I say that too is because his second show, I took him to Red Rocks. He got a Chromolite, like the first
oh
Chromolite
God,
set.
yeah,
So like
cool.
he's dialed in. Like hopefully he'll come for some more. But there's one other thing I did, a couple other things I wanted to say about that Miss show. Like I'm pretty sure for that Move My Peeps, Zach was holding the sticks like a jazz drummer style. I don't
yep.
know the proper vernacular for like, holding
That
the
grip,
stick,
yeah, yeah.
the
Call it the
grip.
jazz grip, yeah.
That's what I would equate it to. But like, I just remember looking at him being like, "You're fucking crazy for this one, Zach." Just like chilling up there in the pocket, just like clapping away like that. But then also too, like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but like H Hunter's tone, it almost sounds like it's like in a bathroom and like super far down a hallway.
That
Yeah,
okay.
I was just about to say Hunter's in the fucking woods on this song, dude.
Yeah,
It's this whole weekend that they had this new
yeah,
tone dialed in, and I wasn't there. And like hearing it at first on the soundboard, of course, like I was like hating on it at first. I'm like, sounds like he's in a hallway. It's like I don't know if it really sounds good, but like upon like second listen and like Scotty, I mean, like you two that were people that were there. The first things people were saying to me were like, "Yo, Hunter's tone was super fucking different and awesome." And
Yeah,
like, I had met it with some like initial like, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of it, but like going back and listening to these shows now, it's so unique. Like it was really unique to this weekend, and
yeah, yeah.
um,
That's
and
true.
it was
Um,
kind of a cool way to like play on like the old school vibe because like it's not exactly like that O2 tone that you get from him, like the super buzzy tone, but like it's a
interesting.
it's a callback for sure, I think. Yeah.
Huh. I didn't even think about it like that. That's really cool. He would kill us if we didn't say this. This was Brad's wedding night. We
Yeah.
were we
Hmm.
were raging to some widespread panic cover bands, high quality widespread cover bands.
Mama's Kitchen,
And
shout out.
Mom's Kitchen, shout out Mom's Kitchen. And yeah, I was here for the following 2 nights, and yeah, no, kind of a thing that you take out of the rest of this era in terms of sound, because Hunter was just on some other shit this whole weekend, and
yeah. I think I noticed it at the show too. I literally probably said the same thing to my homie Shook, who was standing right next to me, and he was like he's in a bathroom down the hall or something like that, and it was like the only other time I think he was trying out a new sound or like new pickups on his pedals or something like that. And it just maybe didn't sound as good as in his ear.
Yeah.
Or like the only other time I've heard it sound like this was at those selector shows.
Mm.
Like it
Oh,
sounded just hella hollow, and I don't know if they were doing it on purpose to get the old school sound or what.
Yeah, it was
But
some of those Peace Blaster tunes they played. I think they were trying to get there for sure.
Mhm.
But no, I dig it for what it is for like a time period piece almost at this point. Like, would I want it to stick around for every show? No, but I think it being specific to those weekends is really cool for sure. But yeah, we've talked a lot about eras, right? Is there a specific STS9 era or maybe a song that best captures the feeling you try to bring into your work?
Oh man, I really find myself like my synapses really firing to like some of the earlier stuff. I think it like was really like when they were like really exploring and maybe and maybe like doing a lot of improvs. Because I feel like maybe that's kind of where I'm at in my artistry is just like kind of figuring out. And I think, as you kind of get more accustomed to how you want to sound as a band, I'm just kind of speaking for them that they probably like maybe stop taking as many chances. I've heard that they, like to practice before they go onto the field kind of situations. So they have like a clean, polished sound, which
Hmm.
like, I appreciate going to a show and not hearing, like flubs and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
also it's like there's magic that happens regardless when live music's being played. But like I do really vibe a lot to the early 2000s stuff. It really just it's chill. Um, but speaking of flubs, I asked I don't know if you're gonna play. Are you gonna play the Grow from Portland yet or
Oh
this
yeah, we're gonna
evening?
finish up with that one. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I don't know if I
uh,
answered your question. Dude, I appreciate you asking and bringing us back. You're like the ringleader here, Nate.
yeah.
You're like, what
I
were
try
we
to
talking
drive.
about?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Pay
no,
attention.
you have no idea how much Nate drives what we have in front of us. I kind of put everything down on paper, and then Nate it is like the conductor of making sure we don't run off the tracks. Um, on the note of just kind of the areas and what STS9 does to you creatively, how would you describe that process of kind of what their music does to your creative process and kind of how they inspire you?
That's a good question. I think it kind of goes into maybe what attracted them to their sound
Mm,
interests me. So like Natural Time, 1320 and like the whole Jose Argaiez kind of lore and like information, it like really resonates with me. And I feel like to hear that put musically, sonically, it kind of is like a vibration that holds that like there's more to life. What's the mystery? Even with this like human dream type stuff that they're doing now, or Peace Blaster, there's like a story behind it
yeah.
that like you can hear what they're playing is one way to take it, and then like what you're seeing is another way. And then when you're there seeing live music, it's a whole nother experience. But then like what's behind that and what it means to each person individually, like that means a lot to me and it inspires me like when I think about it just for myself because it's like the universal question like you're never going to get that answer but like can you
Mm.
listen to it sometimes and feel super stoked about it? Like that's why I like them.
Yeah, I think that flows into this question beautifully, like because they have to find this balance too. But how do you balance making art for yourself versus making art that connects with others?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think making art for others isn't necessarily the way to go about it. And but also like if you're running a business like you want customers, but I'm
Hmm.
also
Sure.
like kind of the frame of mind or like ideology that your people will find you. Like I try to keep it like 100. And I think that like my friends would tell you that too. And you know, my homies are my homies for a reason because like we all love each other. And like as art, my homies support me and I push my homies and friends and family to like do their best. So it's like I kind of lost track of what the question was, but like why we do it. Yeah.
No, you got to it perfectly, man. Absolutely. And I feel like a big weekend for, or I guess it was a week, right, for the community where we were both there, and it's a shame we didn't get to really spend any time together. Was Camp Elsewhere, right, with like the community art project, with being able to get like a deeper look under the hood into their process, and them being able to speak to things like Baktun 9 and their connection with Mayan culture and the cosmos and 1320 theory and everything like that. What did that week mean for you as an artist and as a fan?
Man, that was like cherry on top being like that close to like the epicenter of like who they are as people and artists, and then also being around other people that probably it means like I'm sure everybody monetarily, if they could afford it, everyone would have been there. So I don't equate it to like people that were actually able to make it to be bigger fans than people that weren't.
Sure.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely. Yeah.
but I do think that like there was something to be said about the people that were there. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That made that shit happen. Like I didn't have, you know, I made it happen because it meant some like a lot to me. And like being around that and then like meeting Taylor and Nathan and like we kicked it at that art tent for like most of the time during the day. You know what I mean? Besides the
Yep.
little modules that we did and like the modules with like Hunter and Phipps was like fucking mind blowing. Like being able to be like, you know, tapping on like the modular with or like the sequencer with Phipps and then like tapping on the drum pads with Hunter, like, you know, and then like going into little like Jeffrey's little fucking hobbit hole and recording whatever, you know, like that shit cracked me up, dude. But
Yeah,
like
it was almost intimidating where it's like, hey, put on a pair of headphones with Phipps, and you two are the only people hearing what's going on. I was like, that's crazy. Like, what the hell? Like, but um, yeah, I mean,
he's a
like,
stoic fellow.
yes, he is for sure, but a soft fellow as well, and a kind soul for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you
Sounds
want,
fun, guys. Sounds so
yeah.
cool. Sounds amazing. I'm
Yo,
glad.
Nice,
Nate, this is
Scotty.
where we can get back at him for you missing those Colorado shows. I just listened to that run and you're like, sounds like you guys had a lot of fun. So,
Right. For the Boulder and Dylan shows for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted to go back to that moment or that week sonically, and so do I. And we've played quite a few clips from that week, but somehow we haven't gotten to this one. So thank you for bringing us to this next one.
It's so wet.
have mercy.
I love the little crowd sounds in that one.
I just caught I just for the first time I just caught a little Inner City Blues from Alana at the end of that one, like for two or three measures. That do 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 do.
Dude, that's what's
Oh.
up. That reminds me, I always hear Dear Prudence from Alana, dude. And I
Ah,
thank
Mm.
you for mentioning that because I had no like I wanted to mention it at some point, but yeah.
The crazy thing is when you hear that stuff, you think you're hearing it in your own head, but if you approach her about it, she'll be like, "Fuck yeah, thank you for hearing
yeah,
it." So
yeah, almost
like
almost every time. Like
she'll be
there
like, "I
are,
thought that's going over everyone's head," like,
yep,
but
yep.
almost every time she will confirm that for
Yeah,
sure.
she is like the Kendrick Lamar of bass lines, dude. Like every single thing she does is intentional, and if you think there's something to it, there is, and
Yeah.
she'll always let you know. Like that, yep, yep, that little three measure song in 2018, yep, that was what it was, and it's totally
Yeah,
true.
so also too, I feel like just my first kind of impression listening back on that awesome clippage again, Nate.
hmm
I forgot they did a modular in there. Like that was way doper than just like a 10-minute Twilight. For me,
That
that was like
that's the meat from the potatoes for sure. Yeah.
that was like
That
a bust out for me for sure. I don't know the last time I saw Twilight before that. I know they had been playing it a handful of times, but like, you don't catch every show. So like that was really awesome to see a lot of those bust outs that they knew that the fans wanted to see for that festival.
yeah.
Uh, and I
Yeah, I
do think
started. Sorry, go
go
ahead.
for it.
Yeah, no, I'd like
Well,
to start that. I mean, this was the fan request set, just so for them to the Just Thanks was the one for me that was evading me by sometimes one day if I had showed up late or something like that. And that was my when you like submitted the request, that was the request I put in. I was like, Just Thanks with modular improv. So for them to start with that set the tone. And then Zach at some point during the show goes like, "You guys are really good at picking songs." It's like, yeah, no shit. Like,
let us write the set lists.
yeah.
Are you
Good.
the dude who always shows up a day or two into the run?
Yeah, I was known as Day Late
He
Nate.
used to be, yeah, he
Yeah.
used to be the Roxy.
Before I had unlimited PTO.
Yeah, the Roxy run in 2018. Just thanks. That was the Just Thanks. I remember wincing when it started because I was like,
hmm
God, Nate, what the fuck, man?
I went as far as to tell you to pull the fire alarm if they started it that night. She's like, hold on.
So what was your just thanks then? When did you get it? Was it elsewhere?
That was at that show. Yeah, the opening of this set was the Just Thanks. That was my
That
first and
song
only one
fucking
I've
rips,
gotten.
dude.
Yeah, and what they've been doing with it recently has been really fucking cool.
And that I think the last time we saw it was in Boulder, and that reminds me, I wanted to ask Scotty. I guess that today you got your today, dude.
yeah,
Yep. That was mine. The band confirmed it during our interview that that was my rain check today from my birthday request.
How many
I
times have you listened to it?
Oh my God, dude, a lot. It's one of those that, if I'm going back to the Boulder Theater show, which I probably have 5 or 6 times at this point,
Yeah.
I'll start with the today and then start the show from the beginning and run it all the
Hmm.
way
Stir up
through.
some trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the on
It's
location guy. Well, speaking of locations, we've been hearing you're like a rare Colorado native, right? We see a lot of people flocking to Colorado, a lot of transplants and everything like that.
guilty.
Yeah, well, big ups to you, Alex, for being an OG. But we know you moved out to the West Coast, right? And being in Portland, like how long have you been in Portland? I know there's a great art scene out there. How have you enjoyed your time out there so far?
Yeah, man, I moved to Portland end of 2017, I believe. The art scene out there is nuts.
Yeah.
Actually, like the graph scene was like really opened my eyes. The West Coast graffiti scene is like probably unrivaled next to like New York, in my opinion. Um, not just Portland, but like, down into California, San Francisco, LA, all that business. But like, I mean, just being around that when I first moved there was really nice to just be like, and everyone is an artist that is doing something. They're like, honing their craft. So it's a really conducive environment to be around. Also, it rains like 75% of the winter. So like you're indoors and like you're either not doing anything or you're working on your art. At least, that's what I'm doing. So like that's awesome. But I do want to talk a little bit about that Twilight some more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you're the
Um,
driver's seat. Let's do it.
no, yeah, I appreciate it, but like, so that's essentially to me, it's two other people's songs kind of played by Tribe. So like David Axelrod was
Yeah,
like
the
a
human abstract.
yeah, was like a
Hmm.
composer, and he got. I mean, if you listen to that album, I think the album's called Songs of Experience. It's out of control. Y'all should listen to it.
Good
Um,
shit. Well, I love it when guests come on and drop other artists and other albums for people to listen to. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So like he like they dropped in 1969, right? And then I guess the other song that's kind of inlaid on Twilight is this band Heatwave, which is kind of like that intro kind of sound sample. But like David Axelrod, going back to that, he was influenced by James Blake. Or excuse me, not James Blake,
I
William
was like,
Blake.
wait, where's the timeline here?
I was like, wait
Yeah.
a minute. Is there another James Blake that I'm
How
not
old
aware
is
of?
James Blake? Yeah.
Touchdown on a rainy day. But no, so William Blake wrote a bunch of poems in 1794 called The Human Abstract, which influenced David Axelrod to like kind of write, probably compose that whole album. That album's kind of like a little bit dark, um, about kind of like, how humans are kind of a mixed bag of light and dark, and you take it for what comes with it. But the poem that William Blake wrote is called The Human Abstract, and I was wondering if you would mind if I read it to you guys.
Oh
Please,
my,
absolutely.
dude, this is so
Word.
fucking
So
awesome.
it's called The Human Abstract. Goes, pity would be no more if we did not make somebody poor, and mercy no more could be if all were as happy as we. And mutual fear brings peace till the selfish loves increase. Then cruelty knits a snare and spreads his bait with care. He sits down with holy fears and waters the ground with tears. Then humility takes its root underneath his foot, soon spreads the dismal shade of mystery over his head, and the caterpillar and fly feed on the mystery. And it bears the fruit of deceit, ruddy and sweet to eat, and the raven his nest has made in its thickest shade. The gods of earth and sea sought through nature to find this tree, but their search was all in vain. There grows one in the human brain.
Damn. Bars.
So however you
Um,
kind of uh, disseminate that, but I think it kind of relates to the human dream a little bit in
yeah,
my head.
that
So like I think
for
it's cool
sure.
how like William Blake can write a poem in 1794 to influence a composer in 1969 that influences this band from Santa Cruz to write this song in 2003. And then we're kind of still reaping the rewards of all these artists' interconnections. And again, kind of leads back to like why I love this band so much because like the lore behind it is like meaningful and like has a lot of character to it, you know?
Yeah, and the whole theme of time is art, right? And like
Totally.
how art can be so linear, but it also can be transcendent in terms of time, right? And it can become relatable in so many different ways and through different periods of human history and everything like that and societal history. So like, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's dope as fuck.
Yeah, Alex, what just happened there is is the reason that we do this.
Mhm.
Um,
Totally.
that was really special, and you know, my you know, we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, and if we make a list of top 10 moments, man, that's gonna be up there for me. That was really, really cool. That I mean, you said it. I don't really need to echo it, but that's why we do this, because there's so many layers to this band. Hunter said it on their episode a few weeks ago. It really is that deep.
Mhm.
That was really cool, man. Thank you for sharing that. That was just
Yeah,
that
no
was
worries. I had to read a poem to you guys. I don't know if anyone's done that yet.
Nope. First
No,
first
nope.
poem ever read on
Shout out to all the
Pod
poets out
Podula.
there. Shout out to
Yep.
Saul Williams, that not in our name too. Like, that
Hmm.
was another defining moment of me and my tribe career was hearing Saul Williams talk about that. That poem's like fucking epic.
Fuck yeah. Well, back on the Portland subject, we'll keep moving back to that, right? So you moved there in 2017, and it had taken you until 2025 to get a hometown throwdown, right? Like so. So, this was the first clip that you had sent us that you're like, please, can we talk about this one? So, we'll play the clip first, and then I want you to talk a little bit about this weekend and what it meant for you.
Word.
Mm,
I
mm.
mean,
Fucking yard sale, dude.
it's these little 8 minute grows that it's really sneak up on you, man. And the segue from Glogly, they've done these Groglies before. I don't know if I've heard it is freshly executed quite like this one, where it like literally sounds like those two songs could be one song, like with
Hmm.
like the saxophone samples, the Mario leveling up, little like bloops and stuff. Like it just and then just like that pocket they're getting into on this one, like Alana is both digging a hole to China and then galloping across the Sahara like a gazelle. And like her and Hunter just locks in lockstep with each other at one point. And then David Phipps is throwing a disco dance party. Like, woo! Thank you for bringing us back to this one. This one was overlooked on a recap episode, but
I think that was besides the movements opener. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the show.
hmm
Um, like I remember exactly where I was at, what was happening, who was around me, kind of
hmm
situation. And then like I also the reason I picked that is because like Grow, this is the third time now we've seen it like mashed in this like last couple months or so. Like the
Mm.
Grow Blue, I guess that's longer than a couple months, but then the call jam Grow. So I
Yep,
think
they've
Grow's
been playing
kind of
around with
this
it a lot for sure. Yeah.
new like vehicle where like I'm here for it, like throws, um and I think that Grow Blue was like one of my favorite moments that I've heard the band do, and apparently it was accidental, which
Well,
blows my fucking mind.
it's it's funny because okay, I may have told this story on the first episode, but
You did.
um but I'll go back to it
Yeah.
since it's been a while.
And then I'll
So
tell you my story.
yes, absolutely. The Grow Blues, so it was in Chicago, right? My hometown. Um, and Alana, as everybody knows, is a big Michigan football fan. So go blue, right? They were playing. Michigan was playing Illinois that next day, so it was a 2 night, 2 night or 3 night. It was 2 night run, right? Yeah.
Good.
So after the first night, we go backstage, and Zach, before I even start talking to Alana, we're ready to start having a little bit of friendly trash talk to each other before the game the next morning, Zach goes like, "What did you like the new song?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what was it? Whatever happened after Big Basin?" He was like, "No, no, the new song. Talk to Alana about it. We have a great name for it. You're gonna love the name." And she's like, "Yeah, we named it." In like we had this idea and then I was in because it was Grow and Blue Mood and she knew she wanted to throw shade at me before the game the next day. She was like, "Hey, we thought we'd throw a little jab at Nate and call it Grow Blue." And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you're gonna make me scream Grow Blue, that's the closest I'm getting to Go Blue." So
And then
Oh, I
y'all
it was
didn't
a
won
lot
the
of
next
fun. And
day.
yeah, and then Illinois won. So suck on
I
that,
didn't put that
Wolverines.
together. I'm not a big sports ball fan.
Yep.
So that's what's up. The naming of it, like, because it's technically a blue grow, right?
Yeah, it was Grow. Was it Blue Mood? Grow Blue Mood? Was that what it
I think it was
was?
Blue Mood Grow, but they called it
Yeah.
Grow Blue, which I'm down for.
Yep.
But that makes
hmm
sense. The name, the verbiage, because of the taunt.
Right. Exactly.
Um, But yeah, so like I asked Hunter and Free if they meant to do that at the sound check in Seattle, and they both kind of just laughed at me and were like, "Grow Blue," and like Hunter like shook his head, but like I thought for sure listening to because I've listened to it like dozens of times.
Oh
I thought for
yeah.
sure they planned to do that, but
Yeah.
I think it was just spontaneous. Like Hunter just started playing Grow.
Right. And then like after the show they had aptly named it and then I was like no way it's gonna be on the soundboard or the set list like that. And sure enough, the soundboard drops and it says Grow Blue, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
So
so
it was a great moment for sure.
I'm there for all the Grow segues, and um that song's like quintessential Tribe to me. Like I remember listening to it at work once, and someone was like, "What are you listening to? Like a game show?" So it was like some 2004 like Grow, and it was like I was like, "No, you don't even know. Don't worry about that."
You would get it, yeah.
I mean,
um,
first song that Alana played with the band. So,
Oh,
or
nice.
in practice when she joined them, it was the first song that they ran
they
through.
ripped in the studio, yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Hmm.
Um, do we got some quick hits first, Scotty?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do that. You're right, because the order makes sense. So not sure if you've caught an episode where we've done this, but we've got a kind of a few this or that's to hit you with. And just pick the first one that comes to mind.
Uh,
If it feels like killing one of your children, that's the point.
You never put it that way. Jesus Christ. All right.
um,
Take it away, Scotty.
fast or slow call jam.
oh shoot, man. Fast.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay. Red Rocks or Dylan?
Man, Dylan had me thinking twice, dude. That drive is the only reason I wouldn't say Dylan, but Dylan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. Arigato or tap in?
Tap in.
Okay. Grow or Equinox?
Oh man. Equinox.
Oh,
Love
fresh
that.
fresh off the
Ugh,
grow. I was not expecting
Yeah.
that. Circus or breathe in?
Circus.
Oh, come
Okay.
on.
I'm a big
um,
proponent of circus, man. Like if you put that song like in jam history, it's gonna like outperform like the impact it's made. Like, like you listen you
ah, I
like
loved it. I love this.
Yeah,
that
that's good.
song is like so quintessential Sound Tribe, and the
Mhm.
feeling that you get from it, like when you're hitting a good circus, it's like you can't fuck with that, dude, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's I
You
love
might
that.
be right.
I
Damn it.
completely agree in terms of like historical impact. Like that song is more STS9 than most artists have a song that is to their
I
band.
I think fuck quintessential STS. That's quintessential jam band music, dude. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
that
that's what I mean.
transcends them. Yeah. So
That's a good point. I came up with this in the middle of the episode. Shirtless Zach or braided Hunter?
Oh man, give me them braids, boy.
yeah, bring them back. Bring them back. Well, Alex, thank you so much for joining us. This was an absolute pleasure. You're welcome to come back at any point. This has
Yes.
been so much fun. Um, Plug yourself, man. Where can people find your work and support what you're doing?
Oh, thank you guys for having me, man. Definitely one of my biggest fears, besides like the fear of not being able to see what's underneath me in a big pool of water, is performing, speaking publicly and whatnot. So like, thanks for having a safe space for me to talk and reach a broader audience of just, you know, like-minded people that haven't had the chance to meet me or talk to me. So thank you guys for what you're doing as well. I really appreciate it. Arigato.
Well,
Um,
I would let you finish if I didn't mean what I was about to say. You smoked this episode, man.
Hmm. Yeah.
We had a blast, and you were very, very good. So thank you. You were a great way to kind of get back to it after a little bit of a break. You were awesome tonight. So thank you.
dude, yeah, we're here for the band, and like that's what keeps us kind of like that, seeking the sound, searching for the sound. That's what we're here for. And when we talk about what we love, sometimes you like, like when I meet them, or like you meet a celebrity or someone you look up to, it's like you kind of stutter on, you don't know what to say, but it's like it's good to be grateful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity and grateful to be where I'm at, making right decisions in your life. You
Yeah.
know, it pays off after you keep doing it. So like shout out to all the artists out there. If I didn't shout you out, I still love you. Um, and you guys too. I am mainly on Instagram, Luminary Star Designs. I'm in the midst of doing a whole rebranding, so I got some new stuff coming out. It's gonna have a website and a whole new line of gear. So I'm gonna send y'all some business too. So send me your guys' shirt size and address and whatnot after the show.
Ooh,
Oh,
let's
But
thank you.
go.
yeah, thanks so much, Luminary Star Designs. Give me a shout, y'all. Really appreciate the support. Anyone who's supported me, it means a lot. Being able to like get by on my art is like beyond words. I can, I can only imagine how it feels to do it for 28 years with a huge following like the band has, you know what I mean? So it's like mad respect for everyone who's out there doing it, staying real, and spreading positivity and looking out for each other, you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah. Well, we'll definitely you can catch that link to his Instagram in our description and everything like that. And sounds like we got a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon with the new website. So that'll be the best place to stay tuned from everything from Alex. But again, man, thanks for joining us. For everybody out there, thanks for watching or listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, throw us a comment, throw us a review if you're feeling nice. Uh, Other than that, folks, have a great weekend. Chest pats.
See you
Much
in
love.
LA.
Go Rebs, baby.